before making it to the final boss. As you can tell by the timer, we are definitely slowly getting there as platforms are falling apart on me, trying to make quick jumps, dodging enemies, more retracting spike room here to deal with. Our actual, like, final, really area to contend with here. Wait for him, jump up to the next platform, quickly jump up. Have to wait again. Take out as many enemies as possible for heading over to the door. And now we have one final room that we have to go through to get to the final boss room. Quick fall there as a laser is very slowly traveling at me. Sad part is I can outrun that laser, that's pretty funny. Work up. Make it across one final gap, which you can just run across, thankfully. And here we go into the final boss room. Clancy, who's now completely transformed, is telling us that, you know, hey, we can join up with him now. We don't have to destroy him. We can join up with him and he'll let us live and help him destroy the world. But Ryo, being, of course, a good guy and a hero, he's not going to allow Clancy to destroy mankind. So here we go with the first form of Clancy here in the final battle. And remember, I'm under a very strict time limit, so I gotta be careful. The thing is, every time you hit him or do damage to him, he'll start using this lightning move. So you can hit him a few times real quick, then dodge around, like moving back and forth. The lightning's going to strike where you were standing, so you got to keep moving. If you can be quick at it and have the fire move like I do, you can take him out very quickly. Of course, if you've died, the timer resets, so you're not going to be under as strict of a time limit. But I had to hurry up, hit him a few times, and then dodge the lightning. So now he's transformed into his new form, the second form, and here we go with that as he's kind of in the wall, and we have to hit his head. Thankfully, this form is easier than the first one, as the fireballs gather, and they can hit you as they're gathering, and then he fires them out. And after only a few hits, he's done. Pretty easy, simple to take care of. So now we only have one last form to deal with. So now Ryu thinks, of course, that the battle is done, but we can see flashing in the background. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the final form, this huge beast of Clancy, now appears in the background for our final boss battle. Similar to all the other previous final boss battles in Ninja Gaiden, has a head that we have to take out first before we can get to the core body, as it moves slowly around and fires lasers at us that bounce off the ground, as well as these big beams, but they're pretty easy to dodge. And then you just gotta get in close and dodge and make sure he doesn't run into you. Dodge the lasers that are shooting out and attack the center heart piece. Another, you know, just like all the other Ninja Gaiden games, I think the final form really isn't too challenging once you've taken out that beginning part. But now that we've stopped Clancy, it's time to rejoice, as we're going to now teleport and get out of the dimension, and the warship is going to be destroyed. Just like the other Ninja Gaiden games, we'll get to see a giant tower very slowly collapse. Thankfully, though, this one doesn't collapse nearly as slowly as the other two towers that we've seen collapse in the other two Ninja Gaiden games. So we have another heartwarming moment between Ryu and Irene as the sun will rise on a new day. You know, similar endings to the other Ninja Gaiden games, so it definitely brings all three of them together with similar endings, but it definitely, you know, feels like the other games, especially with this, with the ending. The sun is rose, and now we will go to the credits just like we have in the other games. Very similar credit sequence as well to the other games, as we'll get to see the credits roll over many of the cutscenes that happen throughout the game. Definitely some of the cooler cutscenes of the whole thing. I think definitely that battle between Ryu and the clone, I think, was pretty well done. And the artwork was improved a little bit from the first games. You know, just overall beautifully designed cutscenes, especially for the 8-bit era, which definitely makes Ninja Gaiden, you know, stand out. Not only gameplay, but the cutscenes and the music and everything made all three of these games, regardless of this one not being as good as the other two, made them all great NES titles. The only thing that was always sad was that they never made any more of them until, you know, the recent incarnations on the Xbox, and now the 360 with Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2, not even naming them special, just having them 1 and 2, and really, you know, not too much related to the other Ninja Gaiden games at all. Those games are much more towards the Dead or Alive world and all those characters and stuff like that, combining all of them together. So these games really stand by themselves as standalone titles, a great trilogy that, you know, maybe I wish would have had more to it. You know, when we improved to the SNES era, it would have been cool to see them. Interesting to note that the SNES version of this game in the trilogy actually had worse graphics for some reason than the NES version. I'm not really sure what was up with that. But it doesn't matter whether or not this game was considered as good as the other two. The whole series being as good as it is showcases just how great the NES was and how great 8-bit gaming could be. Being so difficult that you wanted to make it. Every time you made it to another level, you felt like you definitely accomplished something. Which I don't know necessarily always happens with games nowadays. But there's the ending screen. We see copyright 1991 Tecmo. And with that, that's going to wrap up all my play-it-throughs of the Ninja Gaiden trilogy on the NES. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.